Today we're going to talk about a common misconception when it comes to assault. I haven't touched you. How could I have assaulted you? You might have heard someone say this before, or maybe you've thought it yourself. But the truth is, you don't have to physically touch someone to be charged with assault. In fact, verbal and psychological abuse can also be considered assault in the eyes of the law. In the UK, assault is defined as intentionally or recklessly causing a victim to fear immediate personal violence. This can include physical violence, but it can also include threats of violence, harassment, and other types of behavior that make someone feel unsafe or threatened. So, even if you haven't touched someone, if your actions or words make them fear immediate violence or harm, you can still be charged with assault. Importantly, the violence has to be immediate. Today we're going to talk about a landmark case in UK law regarding assault without physical contact. The case is R v Ireland, which was decided by the House of Lords in 1997. In this case, the defendant repeatedly made silent telephone calls to 3 different women over a period of several months. The women were left in a state of fear and anxiety, and one of them developed a nervous disorder. The defendant was charged with assault under Section 47 of the Offences Against the Person Act 1861. The issue before the court was whether the repeated silent telephone calls constituted assault, even though there was no physical contact. The House of Lords held that the repeated silent telephone calls did constitute assault. The court found that assault can be committed without physical contact, and that the fear of violence or harm can be caused by words or conduct alone. In this case, the repeated silent telephone calls amounted to conduct that caused the women to fear immediate violence. This case established an important precedent in UK law that assault can be committed without physical contact, and that the fear of violence or harm can be caused by words or conduct alone. And the consequences of being charged with assault can be severe, including a criminal record, a fine, or even time in prison. That's why it's important to think before you act, and to be aware of how your words and behavior can affect others. If you're unsure whether your behavior could be considered assault, it's always best to err on the side of caution and seek legal advice. And if you are a victim of assault, remember that you have the right to report it and seek help. In conclusion, it's important to remember that assault isn't just about physical violence. Verbal and psychological abuse can also be considered assault under the law, and the consequences can be severe. So, let's all do our part to create a safer and more respectful society.